Hey guys, welcome back to a new week. This week we're going to be dealing with what are called the grand theories, contemporary grand theories. They're not that contemporary. These are mostly from the mid-20th century, but in opposition to our classical stuff. There's a pretty clear break after we deal with Du Bois and Gilman before we get to structural functionalism, conflict theory, and grand systems theory. The break is that the people before that really didn't have like kind of a big ambitious name for their stuff. They just did their work and they developed tools for analyzing society. Grand theory is going to be a little bit different than that. In fact, I've written up here the substance of this introductory lecture to this week is tools for analysis versus orientations for thinking. Everything that we've gotten up to now has mostly given us tools for analysis. Marx and Durkheim in particular did have sort of a general orientation. They were making a cohesive and coherent theory. But the people that we're studying this week are really creating theories that are so ambitious that they almost don't really give us tools for analysis. They're better at giving us orientations for our thinking. So in each of the three, structural functionalism, general systems theory, which we're going to cover out of order compared to what the book does, and then conflict theory, they give us perspectives for understanding, for making sense of the complexity of society. And that's going to be the value for us. Because they're so grand, and grand in the sense of large or ambitious in scale. They're so grand that they don't really give us theoretical, analytical tools. It's like they've tried to encompass everything, and so the theories end up being so general that you're not going to get something out of this that is really going to allow you to look at the world around you and say, oh, okay, so I can apply this conceptual tool from structural functionalism. With Merton, you will have a little bit of that, but most of the rest of the lectures that we're going to do this week are not going to give us that. The value that they have is in giving us a perspective for looking not at the specific trees, but at the forest in general. So looking at society as an organism in an environment that has to adapt to it. That's a worthwhile perspective because then we can say, okay, this particular structure within society is not beneficial to a lot of the individuals within it, but it wasn't supposed to be in the first place. What it's supposed to do is help the organism in a general, not general way, the organism at large interact with its environment at large. The individuals in it don't mean anything from this perspective. And that will be helpful to us because a lot of us beat our heads against a wall thinking, why would we have this as a part of our society when so many people suffer? Structural functionalism and general systems theory in particular are going to give us a reason for it. It's not a reason that will make us hopefully then say, oh, okay, well then we're fine with racism and sexism within the economy. But it will help us understand, okay, so this exists because it's not about those individuals. It's about the adaptation to the environment in general. Yeah, so I hope I'm clear about that. I'm not saying that, so then because of what we're going to learn this week, we just become okay with suffering. We shouldn't. But it will help us understand the persistence of suffering, at least within some social structures. So this week is about orientations for thinking. I think that is everything I wanted to cover in the intro lecture, so we're going to stay under 5 minutes. In the order that we're going to do these in is structural functionalism first, because it kind of historically comes first. Then we're going to move into general systems theory, which technically doesn't come next, but it's an outgrowth, a kind of natural outgrowth of structural functionalism. And then we will finish with conflict theory, and I'll wrap the week up after that. All right, that's it for the intro. I will see you in the next video when we talk about structural functionalism.